Hello, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Metal Gear Solid tier list. Now, this is going to be a bit of a longer video than I expected because I'm doing a two tier list instead of one tier list. I'll do Metal Gear Solid, and I'm going to do the God of War tier list and judge them by my opinions on the games. So we here have a Metal Gear Solid games. Of course, I'm basically new to the Metal Gear Solid series. I've been knowing the series for about 5 months, I think, ever since April. So April, like 8 months. So I've been on the series for 8 to 6 months. So it's pretty much for a short time, and I've been liking the series in my opinion. And of course, I did an entire review of the entire series and what I think of the games. So here we got a bunch of games. So let's begin with the Metal Gear Solid tier list. Let's start up with the original Metal Gear Solid 1. Metal Gear Solid 1, a classic, a game that started all, to me personally, started all the series, what's become today a iconic series. In this game, there was an A tier for being by far my third favorite. Even though it's a classic game, it's one of my third favorite Metal Gear Solid game of all time, and I actually love this game a lot. And I have a special spot for it, even though this game is old school. Not just because the game is old school, it's because of many reasons. It's an amazing game, really awesome game here. Alright, next up is Metal Gear Solid 2, where story-wise, if you haven't watched the video I did, if you haven't watched it, let me give you a rundown. The story was good at the beginning, but then turned to absolute, like, confusion. I was confused. I was like literally confused, and I'm still confused to this very day. Even after I done the review, I was confused and literally misunderstood. Like I was like literally feel like a bit of a misunderstanding, I guess. But I still am confused even now about the game. Gameplay and everything's pretty well, and I give this game an F tier. I'm just kidding, B tier. I was gonna give the game an F tier just to. It's a joke. It's a joke. I'm honestly a B tier. A good game as well, but the story just got me fucking confused at the very end. Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. By far the best game, and I believe to me one of my favorite games. Probably my favorite in the entire series. It's a really awesome game. It takes place, it's the first game chronologically. It's one of my favorites. I love the game from the setting to the characters, the enemies, the soundtrack. It's amazing. Really good game. I wouldn't say much about the story because I don't want to spoil people for tell the story of the game. So don't watch the review, by the way. Just watch this instead. So that's one of the things. Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, deserves to be, honestly, deserves to be here. It's one of my second favorite Metal Gear Solid game. I liked the story of this game and how it's the final game of the franchise, and it all adds up. A lot of amazing moments. My favorite section with the Shadow Moses section was pretty awesome. Returning characters, flashbacks from previous events. It's just really good, really up there. I know that not a lot of people like this game, but I think this game, Snake had a pretty good send off to the series. It's a really good send off to the series. It's one of my absolute favorites. It's an amazing game. All right. Next up is Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zeroes, and Phantom Pain. Now, personally, compare those four games I mentioned. These two are, I would say, they're basically to me like in C tier. Both of these games are C tier. The problem is this game is not finished. The story of this game doesn't make any fucking sense. The gameplay is good and it's really free roaming, but I feel like I really like MGS 1 through 4's gameplay. More linear, more better gameplay, to be honest. It's really good. I believe it's a really good game. Okay, so I think it's a good game, but it's not done, and we all know the controversy surrounding Kojima's leaving absence. With like they haven't coded the fucking ending correctly, and the ending was such a disappointment. It's just ridiculous. There are some foreshadowing in some certain scenes, and there are some certain scenes like beta content. If you haven't known, by the YouTube channel Pantheon Skeleton YouTube channel. I hope I pronounced it correctly. He done some videos and then some stuff that are actually pretty worthwhile. Like this game could have been S tier or A tier, but it's just to me it's C tier to me. It's kind of a bit of a disappointment. So it's that. Peace Walker, I played a bit, and if I would give it a rank, I'll give it D. If I give it a ranking. Uh, Now finally Rising, Metal Gear Rising is the last game, and I'll give this game to me. Uh, Story was pretty okay. Combat, I know this is a spin-off title. I'll give it an A tier. I know there's some people out there might not be surprised for me to put this game high on the list. You shouldn't be surprised for a guy like myself who likes hack and slash games. It's really fun, and the story premise is, to me, I'm not sure if this game is actually canon or not. If it's canon, that means all the stuff that uh, Snake said in the fourth game was basically obsolete, basically. So, and the soundtrack is amazing. The combat is hella fun. Like the soundtrack is such one of the greatest soundtracks of a game. It's amazing. Really did an amazing job with the soundtrack. The bosses. I wish there's more character development and the game could have been longer instead of the game being short. If the game could have been longer, I will think it would be a lot awesome. And plus, if they decide to bring in Metal Gear, Metal Gear Solid Rising, that would be pretty fucking sick. I would like to see that. So here, basically my ranking, S ranks being 3 and 4 because those both of games are amazing. Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1, MGS 1, and MGR. Uh, MGS 2, MGS 5, Peace Walker, and then this game, like this thing. So the other side just didn't play, so I don't know any ranking of them. I heard that Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake's gonna get a remake. It's been teased by Kojima, I guess, on Twitter, on Instagram. Yeah, it's such a tease. So yeah, that's basically Metal Gear Solid games. I don't have much to say because I already did a review in some of those games, like except for like 5. I might, hopefully in the future, might do 5, but I don't really think because I'm not really interested in 5 story. I rather watch cutscenes of 5. Even though the gameplay is fun and there's a lot of content, the problem I have with this game is just it's the story. It just doesn't make any sense, and the ending is such a Worst ending I ever seen in the Metal Gear Solid game. Worst ending. Like, literally the worst ending. It's fucking disappointing. So, yeah, that's basically it. And I'm now gonna hop into God of War, which is gonna be pretty lengthy. So, yeah, stay tuned. We are back. We're back now, and here we are, the God of War tier list of all the God of War games. You got the first, literally, you got all the games, and like I said, so I did Metal Gear Solid a few seconds back, and now I'm doing this game. It's gonna be double video, so it's for both God of War and Metal Gear Solid. Because Metal Gear Solid be pretty much be short, and I have nothing much to say. But with God of War, it's gonna be lengthy, so get prepared. Here we go, and they're actually all in like good organized. So here we go. So, God of War 1, the original God of War game, S tier. By far the very first game that started it all, an S tier. One of my absolute favorite games on the PS2. Not my personal favorite, it's kind of like my second favorite God of War game. Probably of all of them. The story of this game is you're basically playing as Kratos, a young Spartan general who his main mission is to ridicule his past because the past that haunts him, which basically killing his family in a blind rage. And he wants to seek revenge on Ares, the person who gave Kratos the power to basically stay alive. Without Ares, Kratos will be dead a long time ago and all that type of stuff. Gameplay wise is really fun. I love the game. Basically, I'm gonna say this from all the God of War games except the new one. All the gameplay is just like are amazing. They're amazing gameplay. They're all the same. Fixed camera angle, fighting and all that, the experience and all that, the area, the soundtrack, amazing. All God of War games have amazing soundtrack, all of them. So, really good game. Now, God of War 2. God of War 2 is my absolute favorite God of War game, and this game deserves an S tier as well. A really good sequel. It has a bit of improvements. The story in the story department is not as good as this one, but this is my first God of War game, and I love God of War 2 so much. I have very soft spot. Basically, my top 5 favorite PS2 games of all time. I love this game so much. The soundtrack, another amazing soundtrack. It's continuation of this game, and it's pretty good. So we have those. Now, after God of War 3. God of War 3, I'll give it here. I'll give it an A tier. I was gonna I was thinking about which game is like pretty good, but the story of this game, it was pretty well made, but I think personally compared to these two are amazing. I put number 2 on S tier. My reasoning for it because it's my first one I played and I had so much memories playing it. I love this game so much to death. God of War 3 has fun gameplay, of course, but the story as well was kind of okay, I guess. Good story, I think better than this, but I don't have much of like mega love with 3. Don't get me wrong, 3 is an amazing game. 3 is an amazing game. But there is some things that just kind of like the weapon system in this game. It's like when you have multiple weapons, the only unique weapon is the Nemean Cestus. The Nemean crests. The gauntlets are the only like most like unique weapon. The rest of the weapons are basically like variations of blades. There's not that much in the blade department, and every single like blade weapon has its own like unique magic. It's pretty cool, but Yeah, some of like the stuff they add in the game is kind of like questionable, but it's pretty good though. Pretty good gameplay. It's pretty fun. Amazing bosses. All God of War games have amazing bosses. Now we'll get to the prequels. I haven't played God of War Ascension, but this game is by far one of the weaker games in the franchise. So I give this game a C tier. This game has, for the first and only time, has an online component. But this game to me, story wise, is kind of weak. It's kind of my least favorite. It's not too bad of a game, but I don't think it's not as good as like the main line. God of War, Chain of Olympus. This one is a Chain of Olympus. Chain of Olympus goes here. Goes to the A tier, combined with number 3. I like the story of this one. Here's the thing about the God of War games. Since people compare Devil May Cry to this, Devil May Cry doesn't have that big story like expansion compared to God of War. For example, there are some things that happen in different timeline. I was like, oh wait, how did this happen? Well, you play one of these games, like this, and Ghost of Sparta. Those are prequels that could answer a lot of your questions. That is why I think God of War in story department is 10 times better than Devil May Cry. At least it makes sense, even if you don't understand something. And I was like, oh my god, I need answers for a certain type of thing. You can play those. Those will give you the answers that you need. Like, I remembered in God of War 2, when you meet Atlas, and Kratos says, much has passed since we last met, and you don't know what the hell he meant by. Because Atlas and Kratos, last time they met was in this game. And all that stuff. So, if you play God of War games, I recommend playing, like, maybe the main games, play those, then play the prequels. You'll get a lot of understandings. The story of this game is pretty well made. It happens after, timeline wise, this game happens before this and after this game. First this game, then this game here, then this one, then 2, then this, then this. There's a timeline. I know there's another one called God of War Betrayal, which is a mobile game, which I heard is canon, but I don't think it's canon because I don't know nothing about it. I don't know shit about it, so nor I even play it. So, God of War Ghost of Chain of Olympus, really good game. God of War Ghost of Sparta, a much more lengthier game. It rivals with God of War 3 as one of the lengthier games. And I love this game. Being one of my favorites. It's my 3rd favorite. This game, it basically expands the combat of this game. This game God of War 1 came out in 2005. God of War 2 came out in 2007. God of War Chain of Olympus came out in 2009. I think, yeah, 2009, 2008, 2009. Then this game came out 2010. God of War 3 came out. Then 2011, God of War Ghost of Sparta came out, and then 2013, this game came out, and then you got the newest one, which we're going to talk about later. And this game takes place after the first one. So, and it actually visions of his past, but we actually explore Kratos' family, like his mom and his brother. And probably, I would say this is actually Kratos at its the most angriest. Like, the man was literally livid. And basically, if I can do this. Hold on a second. If I can, I don't know, I want to just keep it in the middle. Because between these two games, this one happened in the middle of the middle. So it's kind of funny that all these three games are combined together. So basically, God of War 1, then this, then Ghost of Sparta, then 2. So that's a little bit of timeline so people don't get confused. Then you got like those. Then we have the newest God of War game, God of War 4, aka the God of War 2014. Now here's the thing about this game. I'll give this game a C tier, combining it with this one. I was gonna give it a B tier, but to be honest, the thing about this game is that they have changed completely everything about it. The good things about this game are Kratos' character, how he's a lot more calmer. Kratos the character, way more calmer. He's being more of a dad than he's being more of a dad than a ruthless, a person that starts for revenge. So, and don't tell me that Kratos doesn't have any parts of humanity. He doesn't have 0 ounce of humanity. In God of War 3, when Kratos wants to unlock the power of Pandora's box, like the power of hope, and uses Pandora, the girl Pandora, to rid of the flame of Olympus, Kratos grabbed her and said, "Don't do." He doesn't want Pandora to be sacrificed to the flame because he sees Pandora as his own daughter. So Kratos has symbols of humanity in him. Doesn't mean he kills all the fucking gods, doesn't care. There's still semblance of that goodness within him. He's not just like just a ruthless guy, doesn't give a shit about anybody. There's a reason he doesn't care, but inside of Kratos there is some goodness within him. There's goodness within him. Anyways, I think I rambled a lot about much about that. Now for this one. This game have changed dramatic. Like the gameplay department, I believe it is not fit for a God of War game. Gone are the fun combat of the games of the basically the Greek mythology. Now we have this third-person shooter-like gameplay. It does not fit to the new God of War standard. Doesn't fit to the God of War thing. I don't know. I feel like the gameplay. I like the fixed camera angle style and all that stuff. The game graphically looks good. Another good thing. The bosses are pretty much disappointment. There's not a lot of bosses in this game. God of War is good for bosses. There's no platforming. Platform was a big part of God of War. Was gone. In this game, people compare it to Last of Us. And I know some people said, wait, which Last of Us game? 1 or 2? I really don't know. Honestly, it felt like a Last of Us. This is more of this game should be called the Last of War, or the War of Us, because that's what kind of similar. There's some similar type of progression, and the story to me, I believe, is a downgrade. And Kratos does basically not a lot of things to do. It's all about Baldur and his mom and all that stuff. Story, and this is one of the games that got me bored. When I played halfway through the game, I got literally bored. I stopped playing the game completely. I couldn't go on until I watched a video. I spoiled myself. I watched a video of the Blades of Chaos make a return. So I went back, played the game, got the Blades of Chaos, and after that, the game got good. But the game is not. I know this game is the game of the year, but this game, thinking about it again, is not bad of a game. It's just the problem is this game is just. It felt like the gameplay I didn't like it, nor the story. Exploration really good. The open world aspect was really good. It's kind of similar to Metal Gear Solid 5 in some ways. The problem with MGS 5 is just the story wasn't even good. If it has a good story, I think it'll be better. But the problem with the new one, don't start with this game. Start with this. Start with the original game. This one, those like Greek games, Greek mythology games, are way better than this. As far as my opinion. Yeah, I might be biased. Yeah, I might be like, oh, because I'm an old school God of War fan. That's why I will like it, of course, because I grew up with these games, and I think these games were pretty good and pretty much fun and amazing. And you don't have to, those games don't have to look pretty. Like I would say that God of War 3 is more prettier than this. God of War 3 came out in the 2010 on the PS3 version. And the graphics on the PS3 version was amazing. I looked at it, I was like, holy shit, the game looks good. These two like in graphics kinda like go neck to neck, or this one might be better. I think this one may be better a little bit. So in conclusion, this new one, and Atreus is annoying, let's just say. We have a new God of War game as well coming out, which I'm not too excited for it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm excited, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't like playing new games nowadays. So yeah, that concludes the video, guys, for God of War and the Metal Gear Solid experience. Not experience, sorry, tier list. You have your own opinion on things. Please leave it down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that concludes the video. See ya.